Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this interview. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Anita for her fourth interview in the Years of Growth series. Welcome, Anita.
Thanks so much.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
Awesome. Well, what's awesome? Tell us.
Literally everything. I know you say this on your podcast all the time, but it really is. Like, things are just easy. Everything's working out. I have no stress about my financial situation right now. I'm like not panicking about making any kinds of decisions and letting it flow.
Yay! That's amazing.
Yeah.
What percentage of your life do you think in the past or 6 months ago were like panicking? There was like decisions you were panicking or there was stress about finances?
Oh gosh, probably like 60%.
Yeah?
Was like, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? You know, like just always like a little stressed out about how I'm going to navigate certain decisions.
Yeah. That's amazing. What are you doing with all that space and time? What's filling what used to be like stress?
A lot of appreciation and just like savoring the moments of peace.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so fabulous.
Yeah, it feels very open right now.
Good. That's the magic.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like everything can start flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think that's where I want to start. So one of the things that is been flowing or like you just had an inspiration for how to just increase your income without even doing anything extra, right?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit, like how did inspiration hit? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it hit kind of randomly. I had some Airbnb guests and I'd been communicating back and forth and they were going to check in. I think the day before I reached out to them and said, hey, what are your plans for check-in? Like, this is the check-in time and my normal spiel. And it kind of sprung on me. He goes, oh, well, last minute, 2 of our friends decided to join us. So they're going to be coming as well. And they also have an infant coming with them. So I said, oh my God. So 5 people total. I have basically the space that's rented is 500 square feet.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
like, this is weird. But so I just put it out there and I said, well, that's a lot of people for this tiny house. And, you can do it if you want to do it, but there is an extra charge for extra guests. And it just kind of popped into my head that from the beginning, I had on my listing an extra charge for more than 2 adults. And I just never thought about it, never enforced it. Several people have stayed with more than 2 adults, not necessarily that many more, but I just realized it, and it was an extra $60 that I was able to charge him for that. He said, okay, no problem. Then my next guest also is bringing an extra person. So that was another extra $20. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
This could have been happening the whole time, but I guess I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, right?
And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to set these boundaries right from the start. It's not going to be a surprise to anyone, and I'm going to make a bunch more money.
I love it. And like without doing anything extra, right? Like it's not like there's anything extra to do except for say, yeah, it's this much more money.
Yeah, it's just like a extra sentence.
I love it.
Nobody can argue with it because it's been on the listing the whole time.
Right? Which is so like, it's so, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's not typical, but this is what happens when we have certain money stories and we're like, oh, I have to work really hard for money and I have to do all this. It's like, we don't take the easy paths, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this has been here the whole time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even just like that, $80 a month. I'm just doing like that's like if it was just the same, like let's just take them as an average, like that's $800 so far this year, like, almost $1,000 a year more.
Yeah.
Just because. Yeah.
It's significant.
Yeah, it is significant. I love it. And that's what happens. We start changing our money story. Like these inspirations pop up. We start seeing things and like, oh yeah, so I love that. That's awesome.
Yes. And I can't wait for more ideas to come into my head because I have in the past had my hustler story that I
Yes.
needed to like find a new business. I had to make a new plan for a new stream of income. And I've felt that pressure for a really long time. And recently I've let that go and I'm just waiting for the inspiration. And I know it's going to come. I don't have to work at it. I'm just going to stay in flow and wait for it.
Yay!
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
So that's completely new.
Yeah. How does that feel?
It feels really good. Easy.
Yay!
Yeah.
I love it. We're going to talk about easy. So what would you say is the new money story that you're writing? If you had to like pick a title right now for the story that's being written.
Probably money comes to me easily.
Yes. So much better than being a hustler, right?
Yes. It is.
Has it sort of naturally changed and evolved, or do you have any, I don't know, leftover friction because like being a hustler is sort of like this society, we like put that as a badge of honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any like resistance to putting your easy like button on as a badge of honor now?
Very little now.
Awesome.
But
Yeah.
it's been a process because I've known this from the beginning of our coaching that I need to be just waiting for inspiration, wait for inspiration, just let things play out. But it's easier said than done. And I've had to like slowly let go.
Yeah.
So there are maybe occasionally I still think, oh my God, I got to find something to do. And then I'll remind myself, no, you don't. Just chill out, enjoy this, savor this. All will be okay.
Yes, that's amazing. It'll bring more money.
Yeah.
I kind of like that mantra. Every time I chill out, money shows up.
I do like that too.
Yeah,
I like that
too. I love it. Very cool. So let's talk about ease. Like things are just like easier in your life. Like, I would love for you to share this story about leaving your ATM card at home because it's just such a good example of ease.
Yes. So I've done this a couple of times now. I really try not to do this, but I left my ATM card at home when I was going on a 3-day work trip and I still had my credit card, but there are van tips that you are expected to pay, and those are cash. So it's a little bit of a panic, even though I know I have plenty of money to pay for it. It's like, oh my God, I don't have dollars. What am I going to do? And then I realized that I had some euros in my bag that I had been waiting to exchange from our Greece trip. So I was like, okay, well, there's cash. That's good.
Right.
So I was telling my coworker, hey, I'm going to stop at this next stop and go to the currency exchange and get some cash because I left my ATM card at home, blah, blah, blah. Here's the story. And she's just like, oh, well, how about I just give you this $20 bill and you can PayPal me? I'm like, okay. That was easy. I didn't have to go to the currency exchange. Then the next day I thought, well, I do still have these euros. I do want to exchange them. I have a little extra time. So I was talking to my coworkers on the way back to work and just saying, yeah, I'm going to stop here. So you guys go on without me. I'm going to do this money exchange. And this girl across the shuttle is like, wait, you have euros? And I said, yes. And she goes, I'm going to Italy in a couple of days. Do you want to just trade? I can give you cash and you can give me your euros. And I go, okay, that sounds good. And then we realized it was even easier than that. She didn't have to go to an ATM. I gave her the euros. We did the exchange rate, and she just PayPal'd me the exact amount.
Amazing.
No exchange fees.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just funny, like talking about stuff and then solutions pop up left and right.
Yeah. I love it, especially considering like coming back to the beginning of the interview and you're like 60% of the time, like you're trying to figure things out or stressing about making decisions. Like,
Yeah.
now it's just like, oh yeah, this just needs to be solved and here's the answer.
Yeah. And I even noticed a difference before these solutions came up in my attitude about the whole thing, because I have done this before, like I said, and it's really stressed me out because I don't like to inconvenience others in any way or borrow money from anyone. So I already realized a shift in myself that I wasn't stressing like I used to about not having it. And I just like, it's going to work out. Something's going to work out. It's going to be fine. So just the initial stress was even maybe 50% less.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that leaves the space for those things, like those solutions to come, right?
Right.
Yeah. I love it. So I know everything has gotten easier. What else has gotten easier in your life?
My relationship has gotten easier. Not that we had a whole lot of difficulty before, but we went on this trip to Greece, and that was a whole test to our stable relationship. And knowing he hadn't done that kind of travel before, it was an experiment. And I was watching to see how he was going to handle these like things that came up. And he was so graceful. It was impressive.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome to watch and be with this person who isn't stressed. He totally believes everything will work out.
That's awesome.
And he was just calm and happy the whole time and really enjoyed himself, which made me really enjoy myself. And it just really confirmed that we're on the right path as a partnership. And that's a great thing to know since we're buying a house together.
Yes, right?
Yeah. So I'm so glad that happened. And then even since coming back, things have just been so much easier together. And I mean, our main point of tension is on how to raise his adult children.
Right?
So that's even been better. I've had to talk about it way less. When I do talk about it, it's so like calm and easy and short and to the point, like not angry, nothing like that. Just like, hey, maybe we should find a solution about such and such. And he's just been following through and setting boundaries with them. And it's been awesome to watch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like I've barely had to do anything. And the funny thing is he's like enjoying me a whole lot more too, and not even realizing like this is what I wanted the whole time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I say this, and it's so true. And this is such a great example. Is like when you change your money story, everything changes, right? Because for you, when it wasn't like hustle, have to get this done, have to change this, have to stress, like now it's like easy and things just happen. Like that can happen in your relationship too.
Yeah. And I've been using it in my work schedule as well. We do a lot of trading of shifts, and that in the past has been sort of a tense situation, being like, am I going to get these days off that I need? And it's not even a problem anymore. I'm just like, of course I'm going to have Thanksgiving week off. And of course I'm going to have my time and a half trips. And of course I'm going to, basically work the days that I want to work.
Yes, of course. I love it.
And it really has worked out that way. Because I work with so many people who are like stressed about it. Or even this last trip, I was talking to this girl about my schedule, and she was like, oh, honey, condescendingly, like, you're not going to get that. Like, there's no way you're going to get that. Nice try. Ha ha. That was rude, but
right.
I okay, that's her opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's going to work out. And sure enough, it did. Unfortunately, I wasn't working with her again. Otherwise, I would have loved to tell her how it did work out.
Yes.
But it was just fun knowing, like, maybe that's your story, but that's not my story. Everything works out for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, yes. And was it hard at first to own that, or was it pretty easy for you to just be like, that's your story, this is mine? Or is that like that become a process? Was it a process?
I think it was a process. I definitely in the past kind of maybe had a little bit more negative ideas of things and felt like things are difficult. So it was easy to relate to other people that felt like things were difficult.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a process, but I think it's been a really fast process, actually.
Yeah. It has been super fast, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I see it everywhere. I just like listen to people and hear them talk. And of course, I'm not going to correct the way that they talk, but I just notice like, oh, well, you're saying that. That's probably why that's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. It has been fast. It's only been like 4 or 5 months that you've been in the Enchanted Circle and doing the work. And yeah, which I love because it really can. Did you think things would change this fast?
I really didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't really have an expectation.
Yeah.
Because I've tried so many things that like, I don't want to put my hope in anything. So I was being pretty open.
Awesome.
And that's probably why it has shifted quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I want to talk about, you've gotten some free meals, and I just kind of want to talk about it because I think this is a great topic for our listeners.
Okay. So I've definitely had some free meals out with friends and with Mike. Sometimes I feel like that's cheating when Mike pays for my meals because he's my boyfriend. So it's pretty normal. But I still like to count it.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other story that just happened a couple days ago was I was at Chipotle at the Baltimore airport, and I have pretty consistently had a terrible experience there every time I try to order. And I love Chipotle, so I put up with it and just been kind of disgruntled after each time. But this latest time, there were several issues, and I just thought, you know what? I'm tired of this. Like, this is a painful experience every time, and maybe I should let somebody who has a say know about it, not in an angry way, just saying like, hey, this is what happened. This is what's happened in the past. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I think there's something that could be addressed as far as the hiring process or customer service training. And I got a really nice response back saying, we're going to reach out to the management of that particular location, and we'd also like to send you 2 free meal vouchers.
That's awesome.
Thanks for being a loyal customer, and so sorry. Like, please give us another chance. Which, of course, I will, because it's Chipotle. Like,
right.
Right. Stop going to Chipotle.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was just fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit before the call because you were like, it's like a free meal, but I don't know if I want to say it because it's about complaining, right? Yeah. And so we talked a little bit about how I think a lot of people who use the law of attraction probably have this. And so I definitely wanted to talk about it because we celebrate what comes to us because they didn't have to give you a free meal, right? They could be like, oh, well, thank you, and not give you anything. Right. And number 2 is like, it's the energy of it. And I think, it's part of how, you're like, no, life should be easier and like things work for me. And so I'm willing to say like, I want a different experience, right? Because you've basically just been like, well, Chipotle is where I want to eat. This is the only one in the airport. Like, I'm going to tolerate it, and I'm going to tolerate it, and I'm going to tolerate it, right? And as we shift and we expect things to be easier and better, like we're like, "No, I don't really want to tolerate that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being willing to say that, like you said, and I 100% knowing you know that you didn't. Like it wasn't like an angry, because I think there's complaining to like be angry and sort of there's this complaining that people do to make themselves feel better. Like, you know, if I say Chipotle is bad, like, you know, inside I feel better. And that's not what you did. You just said, like, I don't this I love it. This didn't make me feel good. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really what it was. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And so I don't even think that, I wouldn't even put that in terms of like complaining. Like it's what we do as a society. Like it goes into the complaint department, right? But like in general, it's just saying like, I want better in my life. Like
Yeah.
I want better experiences and I'm willing to say that. And so we had a conversation like maybe the management will change or will do something or not.
Mhm.
And I'm super excited to see, because no matter what they do, I feel like your next experience, because you energetically said, I want more, is going to be better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no matter what happens behind the scenes, it's about asking for what you want, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
and I will set a boundary if my next experience for some reason is the same that I've been experiencing, I just won't go to that location anymore.
Yeah.
That's not a big loss, but I don't want to feel that way anymore.
Yeah. And that's the key, right? Is being like, I'm worth more than this. Like, I don't need to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. How did you feel? Like, did you feel powerful? How did you feel when you said it?
I felt good. I felt like I at least got my thoughts out there to somebody, and they can do whatever they want with the information. But
Right.
at least I got it out of my head, so I don't have to be angry about it.
Yeah, right? And I think that's the key, right? Because you could have gone and told 5 coworkers,
Right.
right? And sort of spread and like been in that energy of being angry. Or you can say, like you said, I'm going to set a boundary. Like this isn't, which I think is awesome, because this is what you want other people to do in your life. So you're doing it. And like the more you do what you want, like often people think it's like different, right? Like Chipotle is different than our, you know, significant other or partner, right? But it's not. It's like how we behave in the world. And if we're willing to set a boundary with Chipotle, like those in our life will be more willing to set the boundary with those in their life, right? The boundaries that we want to have.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I actually, following this experience, had a conversation with a friend that also didn't feel good. And I don't think she realized, you know, how her words were coming across to me. And I just said, you know, this doesn't feel good, and here's why. And you know, I love you, but this kind of hurt me, so maybe next time could you do things a little differently? And it was a little awkward for a minute, but then it was fine, and we both felt better, I think. Just saying, like, okay, that's not what we're going to do in this relationship.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you, like, would you have done that 6 months ago?
No.
Was that, no?
No, I think I would have just been like letting it simmer under the surface until it just, you know, left my mind.
Right.
But I wouldn't have addressed it probably in a healthy way.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. How did it feel?
It felt really good. I mean, it was a little uncomfortable at first, but I felt really powerful and strong, and I had the faith that my thoughts mattered and my feelings mattered to her, and they do. So
yay, that's awesome.
that's great. And I was like, okay, cool. Now we can move on.
Right. Oh, that is so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love this shift. And again, it's because life gets to be easier when we feel like, yeah, things can be easy. Like, even though they might be uncomfortable, like in the long run, that's way easier, right? Than having to let it go and having it happen again and all that other stuff that a lot of people do. Yeah.
Yeah. The boundaries has been a really big lesson. I mean, I've been working on that for a long time, but now I feel like it's in like hyper speed.
Yeah.
Like my boundary setting is just like one after another.
I
We're not
love it.
living like this anymore.
Yes, right? Because
Yeah.
life is easy.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense. Like life is easier with boundaries. Like I just got back from Disneyland, and there's literally someone's job who's just to make boundary. Like if a line gets too long, they take tape and they just make extra lines.
Yeah.
Like because they don't have the weavy things. And I'm like, this is someone's whole job, is to set boundaries. Or if there's going to be a show, like there's a line around where the show is, and there's a line where the walkway is, and like then they come take them up when they're no longer, necessary. But it makes life easier, right? When there's a line, it's like, oh, okay, you don't cross, like this is where I'm supposed to be, right?
But you have to set the line.
Yeah, you totally have to set the line. And it just makes, like, when your life is easy, it's easier to set the line because you want to direct that, right? It's almost like you're being that person with the tape at Disneyland in your own life. Like, nope, here it is. This is where I want you to stay. Like, you either have to be in front of or behind this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've also noticed that it doesn't have to be like an aggressive line setting.
Right.
It's just like a calm, hey folks, here's the line.
Yes.
And the line, that's it. Don't yell about it. It's just, here's the line. That's where it is. These are the facts.
Right? Yeah. Oh, I love it. Do you feel like you used to think you had to yell about it?
Yeah. Like I used to think that it had to be a difficult interaction.
Yeah. Ah, so awesome. Very cool. Any other money stories or easy stories that you want to share today?
Well, I'll share the story about how some workout equipment I've been wanting for a while showed up.
Yes.
So I've gotten really into this class at the gym called Body Pump, and it's like it's a workout routine that's franchised, and they have it in all these gyms. Kind of like Zumba.
Yeah.
But it is super fun, and you use a barbell, and it's set to music and like different beats, and each track is like a different part of the body that you're working. So all the exercises are like 3 minutes long, and it moves on to the next track and you work something else. But it's just a really fun class, and I thought, I don't really want to be at the mercy of when these different gyms are having the class, so I'd love to do this at home. And there is an on-demand option to do videos at home, but of course you need the equipment, which is like a stair stepper, the barbell, the free weights, a mat, which I had some of those things, but I needed to buy a special barbell and the stepper.
Yeah.
So I'd had actually the stepper in my Amazon cart for probably close to 6 months. And it was only like $50. Yeah. It wasn't a lot, but I was just not ready.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger. And then I just had the inspiration one day to like look at barbells again. And I found, for some reason, I'd looked other days and never found the one that my gym uses. And on this day, it just showed up. And it's like, here's that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the one I'm used to using all the time. And I looked at the price, and it was like, with a bunch of discount codes for that specific day, it was about $150.
Awesome.
Which was, I think it was like a $60 or so savings on that.
That's awesome.
Which was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then I realized I had all these points to get an Amazon gift card for $100. So I did that and really was only out $150 by the end of it. And I have all my equipment.
That's awesome. And it was so easy.
It really was. Because I'd been thinking about it for so long. And then I would do my research, and then I would stop, and then I'd be like, well, I'm not ready to spend, $300 right now on all of this. And then all of a sudden that day I spent $150 instead.
That's awesome.
Got all the same things and better.
Yeah. That is so awesome. I love inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's new to me to follow inspiration and to wait.
Yeah. Say more about that. Like, so it's a new feeling. How does it happen for you?
I just have to wait.
Yes.
That's it. Like, I have to wait and I have to chill out. Like, if I'm feeling stressed about something, the answer is always just chill out. Table it.
Yeah.
It'll come when it's ready.
Yeah.
And
And
in the
then when
past,
it
I thought I
comes,
had to work towards it, like, oh, but I got to figure this out, and how's that going to work, and what about this piece, and where's this money going to come from, and
yeah.
now it's just like, just wait and be patient, and it will show up. And
And
really, it doesn't take that long.
Yeah. That is awesome. I love it. And does it, for you, I feel like it's mostly just like a thought that pops into your head, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I've gotten it. It's just random thoughts.
That's amazing.
Like,
That's how it hits for me.
I figured it all out.
I figured it all out and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, exactly. It just showed up. I'm like, okay, well, there it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So easy. I love it.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Cool.
Now that I like have some track with it, it's like, okay, this really can work.
Yeah. So
Before
exciting.
it was just an idea of like, okay, well, this is a theory that you could try.
Right? Did you have to get brave and start because like to trust in the theory?
Yeah, definitely. It was just a letting go. It's all about letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I have to lose by testing out this theory for 6 months?
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
I know. And then imagine like, what do you have to gain by implementing this theory
so
for the
much
next
more.
Right?
Yes. So much. I'm so excited.
Me too. Any advice for someone who's like not great at letting go or who's like listening to you and like, oh, that sounds like great in theory.
Mm-hmm. Just try it, like wholeheartedly try it.
I love it.
And give it a good chance to blossom.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah.
I love it. Very good. I love it, love it, love it. So awesome. So tell us, you have an amazing Airbnb. Tell us a little bit about it. It's like a great location.
Yes. It's about 500 square feet, but it's got a cute little courtyard. It's got a bedroom and a bathroom and a really cute kitchen and living area. It's right in between downtown Denver, and Red Rocks. So if you're going to a show at Red Rocks, it's a great location. Or if you're just visiting Denver, it's a great location. It's about 10 to 15 minutes each way. And I found a link for it. It is www.airbnb.com/h/little farmhouse.
Awesome. Yay. So make sure to check that out if you're coming to Denver, or especially if you're going to a show at Red Rocks. Check it out because the energy of the host is amazing.
It's so good.
So thank you, Anita, so much for sharing this moment in your journey with us.
Of course. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to watching everything else unfold because I know it's going to be awesome.
It is.
Yes. So thank you all for listening. Make sure to come back and check out Anita's next interview in the Years of Growth series.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.